Good morning. So today's session is around navigating the application portal and developing an application, including some helpful tips around the budget and the work plan. So we'll start with introductions. My name is Caitlin Figueroa, Program Officer for the funds, and I'll pass it over to Albia.
Good morning again, everyone. Albia Altini Gibson, and I serve as the director for the Healthy Aging Funds with HRIA. Good to see you all.
Alrighty, so jumping right in. So these are the basic elements of the application process, which we will go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Caitlin. So can you amplify your voice? I think someone's having a hard time hearing you. You sound low, they're saying.
Sorry about that. Okay. Does it sound better? Hope so. So these are the basic elements of the application process, which we will go into greater detail about throughout the session. So for an overview, step one will be following the link on the MA Health Funds website to open your application portal. Creating an account and login is the second step. Third step would be completing the eligibility questions. Then we have completing part A, which is the basic information aspect of the application, and then part B, which is the proposal section. And then we have a certification, which will just ask for your initials, as well as an other attachments section, which you can upload your other required attachments in, and then saving or submitting your application. Alrighty, so once you've opened the website, you're going to open the Apply tab at the very top, and this is what you're going to see. It'll allow you to click these application portal link buttons, and that's what's going to allow you to start your new application. If you've already started an application, you've saved it, and you're returning to that on a different day, a different time, you're going to want to open the account portal link, and that'll allow you to access previously existing applications. Sorry about that. Alrighty, so in terms of accessing the actual portal, once you've opened that Start Your Application portal link, this is what you're going to see. And so if you already have an account with the HRIA online application portal, please use the user information that you've previously used to log in. Otherwise, please press the Create an Account button in order to create your account. Once you've pressed the Create an Account button, you're going to be prompted to fill out a few fields to create that account and then move forward in the process. And this is what that Create an Account button or site is going to look like, right? So you have email and a password creation. Okay. So once you've either created an account or logged in with your pre-existing user information, you're going to be met with an eligibility quiz. You'll fill that out, and then this is the very first page you're going to see, the instructions page. And this is where you will find the link to your application materials, and that's just a link to the site, which you saw previously. And then you'll also have your Save and Continue and Save and Finish Later buttons. And these are really important to remember to press as you're going through the application. Saving and continuing is crucial. You don't want to lose any important information that you've inputted already. And then if you decide that you want to work on it later, you've completed X amount of the application at this portion and want to return at a later date, later time, press the Save and Finish Later button, and that'll close you out of your application and still save that information for you. And then you have the account page button. And this one is actually really important. I mentioned it previously earlier. This is the link that's going to allow you to return to an already saved or existing application. So we highly recommend that as soon as you enter this instructions page of your application, that you bookmark this link. Because once you've entered any information, that is where you'll want to return afterward. Okay, and so once you've opened that link that I mentioned earlier, that's going to allow you to find your pre-existing applications, this is what that's going to look like. You'll press the application name that you're hoping to continue, and it'll take you right where you left off in your application. Now we're going to do a quick demonstration of what the portal looks like beyond the eligibility quiz and instructions page. So, really the meat and potatoes of the application. So this is the very first section, the basic information portion of your application. So you're going to fill out this basic information, things like your organization's name, tax ID, operating budget, things of that nature. Once you've filled all that information out, press save and continue. You'll be moving forward into this portion of the application, the proposal. And there are instructions here around the attachments you're able to submit for the proposal, whether that be narrative or a presentation upload. And then here's actually this first image is what you're going to see when trying to attempt to upload an attachment. So you're going to choose your file. You can see my cursor here. This is what you're going to press. You'll click your file in your folder, and then you're going to press upload. Do not forget to press upload, otherwise the document will not be living in your application. And also be sure to pick the type of submission that you're doing, whether that be narrative or presentation. And then you're going to press save and continue. And the way that you'll know that your document has been uploaded is it'll show up in this way, right? So the file name will show up. It'll say the date that it was uploaded, as well as, the size of your file. And then you can save and continue and move on to the next portion of your application, which is the certifications. So this is going to ask you to type your initials to certify that you have read the RFP in full, you understand the submission deadline, you acknowledge that your application is accurate, and that your organization's senior leadership is aware and supportive of this application. And then once again, saving and continuing at the bottom. And then we have attachments. So this is the last portion of the application before you get to the review my application section, which will allow you to confirm submission. And so here you'll see what the required attachments are and be able to upload these documents the same way that we did for the proposal portion of this application. In this case, however, please be sure to choose the title of the document that you're uploading before uploading it. So if you're uploading your budget, you'll click this little arrow here, you'll choose the budget section or budget option, choose your file, press upload, and similarly to the proposal portion, you'll see that your documents have been uploaded once you see the little uploaded files section in the attachments page. So normally what you'd see after you've gone through all of those steps and go to the last portion of the application, which is the review my application section, is you'd get an overview of your proposal. Essentially, all of the questions that you've already answered and documents that you've already uploaded will live there. And we recommend that you double check that before submission, just in case, and then submit at the bottom. However, if you've missed any required fields or uploads throughout the process of completing the application, this is what you're going to get, an error message here. And it's going to look like this, which is indicating that you've missed certain required fields in the application. If that happens, please just return to the part of the application that's indicated as missing, fill that out, and save and continue, move back to this last section of the application, and you should be all set and ready to submit. So that was the actual online portal demonstration. And now we're going to move into the budget and work plan templates and a few helpful tips around that. So as for guidelines for completing your budget, we encourage applicants to develop a detailed, realistic budget with all project costs. And we'd also like to support you in considering equity within your proposed budget. And we have 3 key areas that we've acknowledged as having to be prioritized in creating your budget, which is evaluation, capacity building, and compensation and incentives. So for the evaluation portion of your budget, we encourage you to allocate resources that will allow your organization or partnership to evaluate your initiatives. Generally, we recommend at least 10% of your annual project budget be dedicated to evaluation activities, and this can be requested from the funds directly or covered by other funding sources, so long as there is an evaluation component present. And evaluation activities can be done by staff an individual consultant, or another organization. For the capacity building / funds events portion of your budget, awardees are expected to take part in learning opportunities and events. So please be sure to budget for funds to cover 1 to 2 staff to prepare for, take part in, and travel to these meetings, along with other travel-related expenses. And so this is just a preview of the types of events that we hold throughout the grant cycle, which is subject to a little bit of change, but likely not much. And then we have the compensation and incentives portion of your budget. So we encourage you to budget for in-depth community engagement. And when compensating community members, which are those who are not paid by staff or who are not paid staff by the organization or subcontractors, for their time, we recommend the following: a minimum payment or incentive amount of $25 an hour, or at least a living wage in your region. And we encourage compensating individuals with an extra role, such as, meeting facilitator per se, at a higher rate. And then also recommending that translation, interpreting, childcare, and transportation reimbursement be offered to support participation in events. As for finding the budget and work plan templates, this is the same place that I alluded to earlier on the Massachusetts Community Health and Healthy Aging Fund site. In the apply section, you'll find the work plan template and the budget template next to this other required attachments section. And this is just a preview of the template. It's pretty straightforward. There are 5 key categories: staff / personnel costs, non-employee compensation / stipends, operating costs, subcontracts, and other. When you add your line items into the budget template, please also be sure to write some notes on the side here that'll allow us to understand your budget a bit better. And on the top left corner as well, please be sure to add your organization name and your total requested amount. And that's the total requested amount that you're requesting specifically from the funds for this project. And this is just what the rest of that budget template looks like. And this is what your work plan template will look like. And please be sure that you're listing a minimum of 5 activities in this work plan. Alrighty, so as for where you'll be able to find guidelines regarding all of our attachments, same part of the website that I've been alluding to. So you're going to open the All Attachments Guidelines button. And this is the kind of one-stop shop for all of your necessary links and materials. So now we're going to go into some common questions and answers, not necessarily specifically regarding the portal, but just some pieces that folks have been asking us over the last few sessions and generally speaking. So is there a limit for indirect costs? So proposed budgets should include no more than 20% for indirect or overhead costs for your organization or your fiscal agent. Indirect costs do not include fringe benefits or payroll taxes, which should be budgeted as part of your proposed personnel costs. Does the amount we request need to be tied to our organization's annual operating budget? No, the amount you request is not tied to your org's annual budget. However, one of the 4 review criteria is feasibility. So please outline a realistic budget for the activities you're proposing and include context for why this project is feasible for your organization. Some other questions here. Are applicants required to show any matching funding? Are proposals that have leveraged funds from other sources considered favorably? And so applicants are not required to show any matching funding. In the budget form, we ask applicants to list all current and pending funding sources related to the proposed project, and this should include the amount funded or requested, as well as all in-kind sources. And then the next question is, do we submit activities and costs for just 1 year or all years that we're requesting funding for? So we would like to see or receive a budget request for the full number of years you are requesting funding for. However, we do understand that some costs for future years may be estimates, and there are always opportunities for awardees to revise their budgets throughout the grant cycle. Okay, and just some quick reminders. Please log into the online portal prior to the deadline, significantly prior to the deadline, in order to create your account, familiarize yourself with the proposal, with the system, with all of that good stuff. And if you do have any questions, please be sure to email matchfunds@hria.org with any technical issues you might be having, any questions you might be having, just feel free to email us. And again, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this session, please be sure to save your application as you go. This will ensure that you don't lose any precious information. You guys spend a lot of time working on these applications, and we don't want you to have to be doubling down on any of that work. Another reminder, the application link that you're finding on the website, as well as the return to application link are two different ones, right? So in that instructions page, when you open your application for the first time, just go ahead and bookmark that account page link. It'll be really helpful for the future because that's what you're going to be reaching for when you go back to your application. And another one is to consider submitting your proposal before the deadline. It's helpful for all of us. And we're excited to receive your applications. And I think that is all.